Guys, what a crazy week it's been. Even the last few months have been bonkers with trading. I almost feel like I'm becoming a day trader. There's so much volatility, but if you're on the ball and if you're tracking it, there are trades to take, and we continue to be on quite a good run. So let's go over it. Eric Trump recently come out saying, "How am I doing?" Ashley D called him out because he quoted saying, "Now's a good time to buy Ethereum," and it was actually at the local top, and it tanked so bad, like he was underwater for quite a while, and the price come back, and he's kind of basically said "told you so," which is kind of a red flag, especially if you're up a lot on longs, because Ethereum was going up only. Everyone was ball posting about Ethereum. Google searches started to reach all-time highs for Ethereum, and then we got this from Eric Trump. I posted saying, and then we got more, right? I posted saying, "Oh man," Naib started posting screenshots of his unrealized gains, and I said Kramer just turned bullish. Almost time for that video again. I didn't have time to make the video, unfortunately, but then I posted saying, "Look guys, it's getting mad." Took some profits. It was 1000x up on my ETH long. I was up crazy gains. I think I was long Solana, I was long Bitcoin. I think I was up like over $100,000 in 8 or 9 days. So I actually took profits. I'm going to tell you at the end of the video what I'm going to do with some of those profits as well, because I'm not going to give this money back to the exchanges. I'm actually going to diversify and move it into a real world asset, actually, which I'll tell you about at the end of the video. So crazy, great time to take profits. When you see everyone is starting to get frothy, people are starting to show off their gains, it's often when the market will come back and humble you. So I actually closed the longs, so I took profits on my longs, and then I opened a hedge short on Ethereum, which I posted in my Discord, and 11x, 1%, no stop loss, no take profit target. As usual, I will take little bits of profits, and the next day, the market tanked, right? Just in $420 million in liquidations from the crypto market in the past 20 minutes. And obviously that went a lot higher, right? This was like the next day after Eric Trump started saying, "How am I doing?" And then, just over $100 billion was wiped out in total from the crypto space in 24 hours. So absolutely crazy. And then we had James Wynn posting, "Ethereum is going to 4K and there's nothing you can do about it." I actually think James Wynn might be a character. Now, it's Digital Asset News who mentioned this. He might be a character who has been placed to sway retail in the space. He's got a lot of retail attention all of a sudden, and now most of his calls are wrong. And people are potentially listening to him and following him, which might be increasing liquidations. It's just a conspiracy, guys. We have no evidence of that. I'm just saying it's very, very strange how this guy moves. And then the next day, he posted saying, "Ethereum looks incredibly strong. Long your longs." Okay? And then big up Big Wiz for calling them out, because he said, "Didn't you just say yesterday, 2 days ago, we're effed, and Ethereum is going sub 4K? What changed?" So be very careful. James is like very retail. If he's not an inside character, then he's just a bad retail trader. And yes, doing the opposite it likely is going to pay off, right? Doing the opposite of what retail are doing pays off. Just like when all of the markets were red, retail would have opened up new shorts, right? Just as they were long when Ethereum was pumping, and Eric Trump was saying, "Look at ETH," and Google trends reached all-time high, retail take long. So retail will long green candles, and then when the market turns red, they start to open shorts. They're not taking profits and flipping into shorts, right? So yeah, trying to understand retail psychology gives us an advantage on the markets. So where am I now? What trades am I taking? So we still didn't get a sell signal from the SMC bot. Okay, so very, very important. Usually when we get the sell signal after a pump like this on the 4-hourly, we will go down. And I said, look, if we do get a sell signal here, it's likely we're going to come down and test this yellow line. Sorry, this yellow line first. So I didn't put a yellow line here, but this level here, 4,174. And then the next level after that would be 375. But we didn't get the sell signal. So the trend is your friend until the end. And we came down and we actually held a support. So, what do I do? I'm usually not a day trader, right? I'm having to adapt with this market. As we're getting closer and closer to the end of the bull run, I'm having to adapt. This is usually what I do. Okay, so I buy in the bear market. So this is when we go into a bear market and you go sideways, I buy in the bear market and I just hold into the bull run, right? I start to take profits in the bull run. When everything's up 10, 15, 20, 25x, I start to take some profits, as we did in render. People were calling me an idiot. You're so dumb. It's beyond comical. This is when I started to take profits after buying render at 0.54, 2022. Done a DCA into render. It's come down a lot. We're starting to get a lot of sideways action and finding some kind of a floor. And then obviously when I'm 25x up, 2,500% in profit, of course, I'm going to start selling. So I said here, I buy altcoins based on BTC price and not individual coins, as when BTC bottoms, they usually bottom. And, I started to take some profits around the top of render. So that's kind of what I usually do. There were some people in my Discord who said, oh, is this just a leverage trading group now? Not really, guys, right? You have to kind of adapt with the market. You can't. Some people are saying, I found a new altcoin up here, right? Sorry, we're deep into the bull run now. We should really be looking at BTC chart because the market usually moves with BTC. But people are saying to me like, I found this altcoin, and usually the market ends in 2 months. So what's your strategy? If you're buying altcoins to try and make money, if you're building an altcoin portfolio, what's your strategy if the market is supposed to end in a few months? Because this was the bear market, right? We had our bull run pullbacks at all-time high in 100k. What's your strategy up here, right? Because everything's pumped, everything's up. Bitcoin and Ethereum are up, okay? Altcoins have already had one of their major moves. What are you doing up here? Because you're trying to buy altcoins with this as a potential risk in the market. And if Bitcoin comes down 30-40%, altcoins usually come down 90%. So, I don't know what you're trying to do if you're building altcoins or buying altcoin portfolios here. Personally, for me, the time to buy altcoins and build a portfolio is the same as we've done this cycle. We wait for the bear market. We've got so many different indicators that are going to tell us or giving us an accurate idea of where the bear market is going to bottom. We look at all the indicators that historically have been so good at timing bottoms. They're not great at timing tops, but they're so good at timing bottoms. And that's where I'm going to build my portfolio of altcoins. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I've done this cycle. I'm just going to sell when Bitcoin gets back to all-time high, sell at the next psychological number. Okay, so we sold at all-time high, we sold at 100k, and then I've got the moon back for the final sell, right? For the final dollar cost average out. I'm just going to slowly dollar cost average out, and then hopefully my moon bag, I can get somewhere close to the top. It's very hard to time the top, but that's my strategy. But when you're in a bull run, you can't go and just buy altcoins here and altcoins here and altcoins here. And you don't even know if you're going to see an altcoin rally, right? You might buy altcoins here and just be 90% down on your bags. So I do become a swing trader. Trading these swings this cycle has been phenomenal, right? We took some profits at all-time high. We entered some shorts. It paid off. We entered some longs. We bought the bottom. It paid off. We took some profits. We were long to the Trump rally. It was crazy, right? We longed Bitcoin from 60, is in the 60s into the 90s. Crazy. We took some profits. We took some more longs. Like, swing trading has been the play for me personally. After I started to sell a lot of my altcoin bags, I think you guys know I've sold around 65%, 70% of my altcoin bags. A lot of them were up 20x, 25x, some things done 50x, 100x. And I'm now just taking small trades. I'm already 65% in cash, right? I'm 65% in cash, waiting for the bear market, which historically has come every single time. And I'm just taking small trades here and there, and it's been paying off, right? I mean, just in the last week or so, I've made $100,000. And again, I'm not putting that into altcoins. I'm not going to go and chuck that into altcoins near the end of the market. It's like a game of probabilities, right? My probability of making a huge loss on that is very high. I might take a small, tiny percent of it and put it into some altcoins, as we have done recently. We bought some Ethereum, we bought some more Solana, we bought some Sui. I might take small trades on low cap altcoins, but I wouldn't go and buy an altcoin portfolio here. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing it. And no, we haven't become a leverage trading group or a swing trading group, but in the different stages of the market, guys, there's different ways to make money. Just like as you go into a bear market, if you don't adapt, there's no money for you to make going into the bear market. So are you going to sit for 12 months and not try and make any gains at all when historically altcoins come down 99%? Like, to me, that's the real altcoin bull run. It's, that most altcoins are going to come down 99%. Tell me another industry where, imagine if someone said, oh yeah, in the next 12 months, usually all stocks are going to come down 99%. I'd be like, brilliant. That sounds like a bull run to me. That's where I want to capitalize. You're telling me the probabilities of this bunch of altcoins coming down, you're telling me most of them are going to come down 99%. I'm in, right? Well, let's try and find that opportunity. When are they going to come down? Well, usually when they break their supports, okay? Or usually when BTC, when Bitcoin breaks its bull run trend line, usually that's the end of the market and altcoins go down. Well, fantastic. Well, then I'm prepared. I'm going to position myself for that opportunity. And you're telling me I can make what? A 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x from shorting these altcoins. Okay, well then that's my real opportunity, right? And just as when they come down 99%, when everyone's bearish, crypto's dead, altcoins are dead, I can't believe how much they're down, that's when I want to be buying again, right? I want to be buying the fear, and I want to be selling the greed. When everyone is frothing at the mouth, when everyone is saying, look at me now, when everyone is saying higher, 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 posting screenshots of their unrealized gains, okay, not even realized gains, that's when I personally want to be opening hedge short positions. We talked about what hedging is, but it played out really nice. And again, when everyone's bearish, I want to be flipping long. So you can see in my Discord, I posted here, started taking profits from my short. So my short realized was around $7,102. There's a little bit left on there. I slowly take 50% and 25% out. The stop loss is at entry, right? So it's not going to go into any losses now. And I've bagged $7,000. And then I opened a long on ETH around 5 to 20x leverage. 1%. We had a buy signal on the 15-minute time frame. So when I'm trying to catch reversals, I flipped to the 15-minute time frame on the SMC bot, and it gave us a buy signal here. And since then, ETH has started to rally and it started to move back up. We also found support on the 4-hour here, right, as well. So if we did break below this, we would have had a sell signal, and I would have taken a short position. So if we closed below this and we got a sell, then I would have taken a short position. But again, the trend is your friend. We came back to support. This is an area I look for a bounce, and it held up really nice. Look, it tried to break through. It tried to break through to almost the exact dollar, which is why we can get away with using quite high leverage. And then it came back and it retested. Now that's what you really want to see. When it retests the level and it holds, that's extremely bullish, okay? And then we started to break out of this ascending triangle, which is a reversal pattern, and we had loads of different confluence. So we're looking good on Ethereum, guys. I'm going to hold these longs open for now. Be careful following James Wynn, guys, because, he went from one extreme to the other the next day. And, yeah, absolutely crazy. So also, guys, I forgot to mention, I did hire a professional day trader. So as you guys know, I would say my strength, I'm getting better with day trading. I'm actually getting pretty good lately. But I'm not the best day trader. I'll put my hands up. Sometimes I get too greedy. Sometimes I hold on to profits too long. Sometimes I don't stick to my stop losses, and I'll let my stop loss, I'll move my stop loss and it will run into some losses. Day trading requires a different kind of discipline, right? You have to have the ultimate discipline. And I personally prefer to buy when things are down a lot and just hold and hodl into a bull run. But obviously, as I've explained, I do have to kind of change the strategy. So in February, I actually hired a professional leverage trader, very expensive. And I thought I'd test him out. It's a lot of money, but hey, we'll test him out. And he's really good. He's really good. I actually gave him a pay rise because he was that good. And in February, he won plus 15R. March, he won every single month. He's won plus 6R, plus 3R, plus 4R, plus 7R. And I want you to remember how difficult it's been to trade. A lot of traders have been getting wrecked. Even though we've been winning a lot of trades recently and we've been playing some good plays, a lot of traders have been getting wrecked. And we've been in almost a 12-month altcoin bear market, right? Altcoins have been coming down for like 12 months or so. Even though we kind of sold around the top on some of these altcoins like Render, we started taking profits on Solana around some of these local tops. I didn't know that we were going to kind of top out here for 12 months. Otherwise, I would have sold more than 25% of my portfolio here, right? Or 30%, whatever I sold. I didn't know this was going to happen. I thought we'd have a correction and then start to break out of this ascending triangle. And we just went on this crazy bear market as more and more money flowed into Bitcoin. And I don't think many people expected this to happen, which is why we dollar cost average out, right? The second DCA was this peak here. We had this peak here. It didn't look like we were going to break out, and then I took some more profits off the table. And again, if we have another peak, that's going to be my final sell on Render. And I do think we are going to have a final peak. I just don't know if we're going to have the final peak everyone is hoping for, right? I don't know if we're going to skyrocket here to $25, $50 on Render, for example. I don't know, and we might even get a leaf rally and get rejected at this downwards resistance again because it's been resistance. If we break out of this, hey, maybe I'll flip. Again, I'm having to be adaptive with the market, and I think that's vital in these stages of the market. So yeah, still long on ETH. I did open a long on Solana as well. That's doing pretty well. I think that's 50% profits. Again, a lot of things came down to their support areas and kind of held up quite well. So the pro trade is doing very good. If you want to see his trades, so I post my trades in leverage trades here, so you can see my calls here, and then you can see his calls here under professional leverage trader. You can see his ideas, so he talks about what he expects to happen in the market, and then you can see his trade logs here. With what trades he's taken, and the guys have been absolutely printing recently. Big up Beba 865, 100% on that Ethereum long position. It's 219% on the Sol long. Drax absolutely killing it here as well. Solana 155%, Fartcoin 201%. I forgot about the Fartcoin trade. That done quite well as well. Filthy Man 832% on the Solana long. Obviously I posted my gains as well here. My gains were BTC 166%, Solana 196%, Ethereum 823%. Gino killing it. The guys have been clearing up. Big up Tom of Norway, Ghost X. Beba's ETH long went over 10x as well. That's crazy, man. Absolutely killing it. So if you want to see us, guys, if you want to join in and jump on our trades, you can join the Discord. The link is on my X, so you head over to my X account. Big up Khan. Look at these gains, man. BTC 3,961 on that BTC trade. Absolutely love to see the guys printing. Sol $13,000 on that Solana long. So he took my trade, but he actually used 50x leverage. You absolute degen. He used 50x leverage on Solana, which it obviously is very, very risky, but it paid off, and we got in at just the right time, and it's 13,000. So almost over 20,000, almost $20,000. On just 3 trades there. Congratulations, man. It's been crazy. We've had such a crazy run. And do you know what, guys? These longs might actually push back up because of the inflows that we have coming into Ethereum. Look at these inflows on the ETF. So I'm a bit cautious right now. Usually I like to sit in positions. I did get into some positions on Sol recently, and I was saying that I think the price is going to go to 240, and I still do think it's going to go to 240. But then they came back and they wicked out the market right after this. After this, Eric Trump and Jim Cramer and Naib, all of this stuff, they come back and they wicked out the market. So I do want to get and sit in a long position and try and see if this market can break out. But at the same time, I'm very cautious that it could all end at any moment and the entire market could completely crash. There's a lot of cracks under the surface. I've not done the long video yet. If you guys remember, the last 2 times I've done the long bearish video, it's about an hour long, talking about everything that's wrong in the market. The market completely crashed. I think we're getting very close to that. I can't lie. But usually I mean, usually stock market is good in September, but the crypto market is bearish in September. So in an ideal world, I would like to see Ethereum and Solana push up here. Those are the altcoins I'm planning to trade at the moment. And I would expect to see a pullback in September with then a final Q4. I don't know if we're going to get this final Q4 rally, but usually we do get a rally into Q4. And we might see Google searches drop back off in September and then come back in towards the end of the year. Because most of the space and KOLs and everyone, the institutions, we've even got Eric Trump shilling crypto now. They're going to be max pushing towards the end of the year, right, in Q4. And, when you've got even people in the government and you've got the White House bull posting, we might have enough marketing power, and BlackRock as well, we might have enough marketing power to draw in a lot of retail and draw in a lot of investors. We'll see. We'll see how things go, but I am trading cautiously. As you know, I've already taken a lot of profits off the table, and I'm taking small trades, small 1% trades here and there. But yeah, there's still potentially money to be made. If we look at what happened with the, let's look at the BTC ETF, because when we had all of these aggressive inflows into BTC, we did have this massive climb here, even after the inflow started to peak. So you can see here, we climbed. And then we went sideways for quite a while before we actually had a correction. And we did have these aggressive outflows from the ETF on BTC. Now, the reason I'm looking at this on BTC is because I'm thinking it kind of feels like we're here now on Ethereum. We're just about starting to get these aggressive inflows, and they're getting higher and higher. We recently had our highest peak here. And it kind of feels like we might be here, right? We might be here where we started to get these aggressive peaks. And the price continued to trend up on BTC even after we had those peaks by quite a lot, right? And then it went sideways. So there wasn't an immediate sell-off. But after it started to go sideways, then we started to get these aggressive sells, which escalated on Bitcoin. And I'm just wondering, are we going to see this same thing happen? Because we haven't seen any outflows start yet on this Ethereum rally. And it was like we had little peaks of outflows, and then it got more aggressive, and then it got very aggressive, and then we came into this downtrend. And it was actually after it got very aggressive, it continued to fall down, because usually the smart money are going to take profits first, and then the retail are going to start to sell the red candles, and retail would have started to go short here. This is where we started to take some long positions. And then we got this explosive move back to the upside. But the volume on the ETF inflows never came back to the interest that we had here, which is interesting. So I am kind of interested to see if we can break into all-time highs on Ethereum. So if we can get through this key level now, we've had kind of a pullback, a little bit of a refuel. Look at this yellow candle as well on the 4-hourly time frame. If you look on the legend here where it says downtrend on the SMC bot, that was a great little signal to say that we're getting a little bit overheated, and we ended up pulling back from that. And we're back in the blues. We want to really go grey here, so we want to go into greys, not too soon. We don't want to go grey, green too soon, otherwise we might get a double top here. But if we can go into some greys, like you see these greys here, you start to go grey, and then you start to go into greens, and then you don't really have to panic until you see these yellows again. We could be good. I really want to start turning green as we go into all-time high, because then we can get a FOMO breakout. We can get a FOMO breakout into all-time high, and then probably just flip when we see the yellow signal. If we start to get the yellow bearish candle, maybe flip, take some profits off the table. That's what I might do. I can't give you guys advice. That's what I might do personally. So I'm not a financial advisor, guys. Do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all your money investing in anything. These are just my strategies. This is just what I'm doing. So always do your own research. The bull run indicator is still on, but this is Nansen, by the way. If you want to get my discount code for Nansen, it's SMC, and it basically gives you all of the smart money on-chain data that we're using a lot to kind of navigate this market. So it's still, notice how long it's getting. It's still on, but when it flips down here, you're in a technical bear market, and this is kind of where I'm interested for shorting altcoins. I'm going to do full strategies on how I'm shorting altcoins, what altcoins I'm shorting. I'm not going to be shorting any low caps, guys, because they're just going to liquidate you. Even though, you know, it's very appealing to short those because they can move down very fast. They're probably going to come back and scam wick you, and you're going to get stopped and hit your liquidation. So I'm probably going to be focusing on larger cap altcoins, which are a lot harder to manipulate. They can still be manipulated, especially with the money some of these guys have got, but they follow the charts a lot more than the smaller altcoins. So waiting for this to trend down. I think it's going to be soon, because look how long it's getting now. I think it's longer than these last two cycles here. And it's just a matter of time before we flip into a bear. And just remember, it can happen really fast, guys. If you're stacked now, let's say you've got 10k in crypto, when you snap bear, you normally wake up and it's like this, and then Eric Trump and that will be like, buy the dip. Everyone thinks it's a relief rally, and then it comes down another 20-30%, and before you know it, you're down 50% in a couple of days, and your 10k is now 5k, and then it gets very hard to sell, and then you think this must be the final dip, and then it comes down another 50%, and before you know it, you're on 2k. It can happen very, very fast. I've been through this before. I've seen it happen. I've seen everyone buy the dips, getting bullish. And don't forget, the money you put into buying the dips can also come down 70, 80, 90, 99% as well, right? So if you keep plowing money in, you can actually be in a much, much worse position, over time, just by buying at the wrong places. That's it for now, guys. Don't forget, if you want to join us, if you want to see all of the buy and sell alerts, all the trades we're taking, if you want to get access to the pro traders, buys and sells, you want to see their approach, they take a lot lower risk approach, with very tight stop losses on every trade, and TP targets and stuff. So that's going to be very slow and steady approach. I guess I do take definitely a slightly higher risk trades. So you've got the best of both worlds there. You've got a low risk trader as well. And what I do with the pro traders, I take some of his support levels as confluence. So Ethereum here was a support level for me, and I actually got into a long position, and then the pro trader posted saying, I think Ethereum's going to bounce here, but I'm not taking a trade. So he actually didn't take the trade because it was too risky. But I'm a DJ, and I said, well, we're at the 4-hour SMC support. If this holds, usually we bounce here, and we got the best of both worlds. So, I'd like to expand our group even bigger, because the more people we can get into the Discord, the more traders I can hire. They're really expensive, but I would like to have another trader, maybe in the Asia sector, who will so we can have like trades 24/7 for those of us in the West who are asleep. Sometimes there's people who want to trade, right? The markets are 24/7. So I would like different kind of traders. Maybe I would like a meme coin trader. Maybe I would like a stocks trader would be cool. I'd like to get a stocks trader in. I see a world where, in a few years' time, we have like 3 or 4 professional traders in the Discord, especially with this kind of consistency, right? This guy's won every month in one of the hardest markets, and some of his calls and some of his analysis is phenomenal. And I think more of us, I can't remember who said it, it's a famous quote, none of us is smarter than all of us, right? There's people in my Discord who are very skilled, and especially my VIP group, we've got some great traders who are giving, their input, their alpha, and it's helping shape some of the decisions I'm taking. So, more minds are greater than one, and I'd like to onboard as many professionals as we can. We're nearly at the end of the market, so do you know what might be good? It's trying to find an amazing short trader, someone who's really good, someone who had a great cycle. The problem with short traders is they're always bearish. They're bearish all the time. They keep hitting these stop losses. How crazy is this as well? Michael Burry, who is historically incredibly bearish, flipped bullish. He flipped bullish, and then with Eric Trump and everyone else, and the market tanked. We need to do a video. I'm going to do a video on that, because Michael Burry flipped bullish, and Berkshire Hathaway started buying a stock that we were buying in the dip. Actually, it came out and we were buying UNH. And I need so many videos. So much has happened. My bookmarks is crazy, guys. So much has happened in the last few weeks that I don't even have the time to keep up with the markets. It is bonkers. So yeah, look, I'm in longs right now. I'm going to hold them open. I mean, I can't lose. What I do is I'll just probably have a trailing stop loss. I'll say, look, if market comes back down here, I'll start to take some profits off the table. And that way I've got exposure to the upside, right? I don't like setting a TP target. It doesn't make any sense for me to set a TP target. I just have exposure to the upside. What if Ethereum breaks up here, right? What if the ETF flows continue tomorrow? The market opens tomorrow. We don't know. We might get loads of ETF inflows trying to buy the dip tomorrow. And this way I have exposure, right? It goes higher. Brilliant. I'm in 20k profits, right? It goes higher. Brilliant. I'm in 30k profits. I set my stop loss higher. Right? Brilliant. We're in a blue sky breakout. Okay. Set my stop loss higher. And then eventually it comes back, hits my stop loss, GG's, 100 grand or whatever. That's how I personally trade. It doesn't make any sense to me setting TP targets. Stop loss targets, yeah, okay, I get it. But TP targets, when in this kind of market where you're getting moves like this is brilliant volatility, right? This is what traders dream of. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, guys. I know some of you might not have the money to join the group, so follow my X first of all. That's free. It's not going to cost you anything. And here is the name of my X channel. And if you want to jump in with us and get involved and see the calls, or you want to get the SMC bot in your own trading view, then if you go to my X and click on this link here, that's going to take you to my page. And if you click this link on the left, that's going to take you to Patreon, which will get you set up with us. And once you get access to the Discord, you can see all of our calls, etc. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I will see you in the next one.